Learn how to take the grunge from an artsy paper and use it to make a big picture overlay with the use of the magic wand tool. In this lesson, I'll show you how to take a big picture page from flat to finished using the grunge from an artsy style paper. This video is being filmed in Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Adobe Photoshop except where noted. So first, begin in Advanced or Expert mode of Photoshop Elements. And in the downloads for this tutorial, I've included a 12 by 12 PSD file that contains one of my photos to practice with. So if you want to follow along with me exactly, you can open that file now. Also, in the downloads for this tutorial, I've included an artsy style paper by Karen Schultz. It's from her kit, Dreamcatcher, and it's really beautiful. Open the KS Dreamcatcher pp02.jpg file now. Then we're going to get the magic wand tool. And in the tool options, we're going to click on the new selection icon. We will set the tolerance to 32. Then we will check anti-aliasing, but we will uncheck sample all layers and contiguous. In Photoshop, set the sample size to point sample. So on the document, click once on any of the areas that contain this green color from the leaves or the lines, and we want to select pixels that are similarly colored to that within the paper, and that's what this magic wand tool will do. So I'm going to click somewhere like here, and that looks pretty good. Now, as a note, even if you click on the same pixels or on the same leaf that I did, that doesn't guarantee that the magic wand tool is going to select the exact same pixels as me, or as what you see on the screen right here. I can click on the same colored pixels and get different selection results each time I use the magic wand tool. So keep that in mind when you're making your own selections, that you might need to click once, maybe press Ctrl Z or Command Z to undo the selection, and then try clicking again until you get the selection that you want. So now once you have those pixels selected, you can press Ctrl C in Windows or Command C on a Mac to copy the selection. Then we're going to go back to our layered PSD file now, and then we will press Ctrl V in Windows or Command V on a Mac to paste those pixels in. Next, we are going to recolor the overlay. So we're going to click on the foreground color chip to open the color picker, and then on the document, sample a color from the photo. I'm going to sample a yellow color from this flower. So maybe this yellow, it's looking a little orange. Let's see if I can get a little bit of a brighter yellow. Maybe here. That looks okay. I like how that looks. So then I will click OK to close the color picker. Now I'll use the keyboard shortcut of Shift Alt Backspace in Windows or Shift Option Delete on a Mac to fill this layer with the foreground color. So just in case you want to use your own photo and your own artsy style paper, let me show you a couple more examples of how to do this. Now at this point, you can just watch and follow along as I show you these two extra examples, and I'll put anything important about the selection process in the manual. Also note that these next examples, or the papers that I use in these next two examples, are not included in the download. These examples are just extra examples to show you ways to try to get the magic wand tool to work for your own papers. So in this photo document, I'm going to click on the visibility icon of my photo overlay layer to hide it for now. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my next paper. This paper is from a kit called Evolving by April Lisa. And it's a really beautiful kit. And I love all the fun, grungy stuff on this paper here. So in this case, the paper has quite a few different colors, but it has a lot of blue. And if I accidentally click on this medium blue color, it's going to select a lot more pixels than what I want it to. So one of the things I can do with the magic wand tool is I can go to the tool options and I can adjust the tolerance setting. I'm going to lower this tolerance setting because I want to click on these dark blue pixels to select those, and I don't want it to pick up any of the medium blue colors. So in order to do that, I need to lower my tolerance that it allows. So I'm going to start with a tolerance of 15 and then see what that gives me, but I'll leave all the other settings the same. So another trick for selecting pixels on papers like this is sometimes it just helps to zoom in. So I'm going to press Control plus in Windows or Command plus on a Mac a couple of times, and then I will click inside one of the areas of the dark blue pixels, and then I'll go ahead and zoom back out. And that looks pretty good. That's looking way better than like having all those medium blue pixels selected. Now, I know that I'm going to want more than just the dark blue pixels that I have currently selected. Like this isn't enough grunge for me for whatever reason today. So to do that, I can go back to the tool options of the magic wand tool and I can click on the add to selection icon so that I can click on more colors to include in my selection. So I'm going to then click on these pink pixels to select those. And then if I want to zoom in, I can also try clicking on these yellow pixels to include those as well. Then I'll zoom back out, and now I can copy by pressing Control or Command C. I'll go back to my big picture overlay file and press Command V to paste, and now I have some fun grunge. And so then let me recolor that to the foreground color chip, and that's looking really cool. I like how that looks here. But let's give this one more try with one more example. So I'm going to go to this paper here. It's from Autumn Days by Belisai Designs, and I really love her kits. They're a lot of fun too. So sometimes trying to figure out what tolerance setting you need to use can be a little tricky. So it's a lot of like trial and error. And so for now, I'm going to leave my tolerance setting set to 15, and I am going to try to select these blue pixels that are on this paper, whether it's the flowers, the script print, or even some of this type. I want those blue pixels. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here, and then I'll click on this blue flower to see what I get. And that's including a lot of pixels, like maybe a little bit more than what I want. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to try lowering the tolerance to 10 to see if that will give me a better result. And so then I'll click on these blue pixels here, and that's looking a little less busy. It might still be a lot, but we're going to give this a try. So let me copy it, go back over here, and then I'll paste it. And actually that's looking really good. So I'm going to recolor that using my keyboard shortcut, and this is already off to a great start. So now at this point, I'm really loving this overlay, but parts of it are over top of my subject, which is the flower, and I want to remove those. And there are many different ways you can do that in Photoshop and Photoshop Elements, but let me show you one of the easiest. So in the Layers panel, we need to click on the photo layer to make it the active layer. Then in the menu bar, we're going to choose Select and Subject. Now it didn't include all of my stem here, but that's okay because it included the flower, and that's what I care about. So now in the Layers panel, we're going to click on our overlay layer to make it active again. Then we will hold down the Alt key in Windows or the Option key on a Mac, and we will click on the Add Layer Mask icon to mask away the area of the selection so that the overlay doesn't fill those areas now. So whatever we had selected will remove that part of the overlay from our document. And I'm thinking that looks really good. I really like how this turned out. So those are some of the tricks you can try with your own photos and papers. You can also try playing around with different blend modes or different opacity levels for the overlay layer. From there, you can finish your scrapbook page like I did here. I love how this page is all about the spring blossoms, and it lets the photos tell the story. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. This has been Jennifer Juris with Digital Scrapper. We help you get your stories told.